Episode 8, The Spacious Present and the Myth of Time. Series title, Seth Speaks, The Eternal Validity of the Soul, the One-Way Street, and the Quantum Veil. Think about your life for a moment. You probably see it as a straight line. A past that is behind you, locked, finished, and unchangeable. A present that disappears as soon as you notice it, thin as a razor's edge. And a future that feels ahead, unwritten, invisible, and often the source of deep anxiety. This linear view of time is the foundation of sanity in a three-dimensional world. It helps us keep appointments, build bridges, and tell stories with a beginning, middle, and end. But when the personality known as Seth began speaking through Jane Roberts in the 1960 seconds, he suggested that this one-way street is actually a psychological filter, a narrow slit in the curtain through which we view a much larger, much more complex reality. He introduces a concept that is as liberating as it is mind-bending: the spacious present. In the spacious present, the past is not dead, the future is not empty, and you are standing at the very center of a simultaneous field of existence. Interestingly, what Seth described as mysticism 60 years ago is now finding a home in the laboratories of theoretical physics. From the block universe theory to the study of quantum entanglement, science is beginning to realize that our perception of time as a flowing river might be the greatest illusion of all. Quick note: this is a metaphysical model, explored through the lens of both Seth's affirmations and modern theoretical physics. It is not established medical or physical fact. As always, take what resonates with your own inner knowing, and leave the rest. The illusion of the clock and the block universe. Seth says our physical senses are time-bound by design. Because our physical eyes and ears can only process so much data at once, our brains slice reality into thin segments. We experience those segments as moments, like the individual frames of a film moving through a projector. We see the frame on the screen and call it now, forgetting that the entire reel of film exists simultaneously in the projector booth. Seth argues that time is not truly a sequence. He suggests it is simultaneous. Imagine a radio. As you turn the dial, you hear different stations. Each station has its own music, its own news, and its own story. But all of them are broadcasting at the same time. Tuning to one station doesn't stop the others from existing. It simply means your receiver is currently focused on one frequency. In modern physics, this mirrors the block universe theory, or eternalism. This theory suggests that space-time is a four-dimensional block where the past, present, and future are all equally real and exist at once. Just as the city of New York doesn't vanish just because you are currently in Los Angeles, the past year of 1920 and the future year of 2090 exist as permanent coordinates in the fabric of the universe. Seth says your life works exactly this way. Your childhood, your adulthood, and your old age exist in the same now. Other layers of experience, other lifetimes, other versions of you, and other probabilities are also active right now. You don't perceive them because your ego is tuned to one channel. This year, this day, this minute. But Seth tells us that the walls between these moments are thinner than we think. We are not moving through time. We are experiencing a vast, eternal now through a very narrow biological lens, changing the dead past, the physics of retrocausality. Now let's talk about the past. Most of us carry our history like a heavy backpack. We say, I am this way because that happened to me. We assume the past is the cause, and the present is the effect. We feel like victims of events that are already over and done. Seth reverses that logic entirely. He says the present is the point of power, and from this point, you are constantly reshaping the past. Not just by changing the physical facts of what occurred, but by changing the meaning, the emotional charge, and the energy the past carries. In Seth's model, the past exists as a living, pulsating pattern in the spacious present. It isn't a dusty record in a basement. It is an active energy field that is still happening. This aligns with a growing field in quantum physics known as retrocausality. Experimental evidence, such as the delayed choice quantum eraser experiment, suggests that choices made in the present can actually influence events that have already occurred in the past, at a subatomic level. If an electron can be influenced by a future measurement, why should we assume our own lives are any different? When you change a belief today, when you finally feel worthy, when you release an old story of victimhood, or when you see an old wound with new eyes, you send a new signal backward through your timeline. You're not only changing your memory, you are changing the effect the past has on your body and your choices today. Seth suggests that true healing is a multidimensional shift. It is the present you, reaching back into the spacious present with clarity and compassion, and literally empowering the past you. When you change your mind in the now, you change the energy that the past sends into your current selves. You are rewriting the energetic blueprint of your history. If the past is still on the air like a radio station, you are simply changing the song that is playing. Navigating the field of probabilities and quantum superposition. If the past is still alive and flexible, what about the future? Seth describes the future as a vast field of probabilities. It is not one fixed fate waiting for you to arrive. It is a vast garden of many possible outcomes, all existing in a state of potential. In physics, this is almost identical to the concept of quantum superposition, the idea that a particle exists in all possible states simultaneously until it is observed or measured. Your future is a wave of probability. Every choice you could make exists as a potential path, and your expectations act like the observer that collapses the wave into a single physical event. You don't stumble into the future as if it were a surprise. You draw a specific version of it toward you based on what you consistently believe, feel, and rehearse in your mind. Fear tunes you toward a probable future of lack or struggle. Expansion and joy tune you toward a future of opportunity. Seth suggests you can actually sample these futures in dreams, in deep meditation, or in those quiet moments when intuition becomes loud. This is why premonitions happen. It's not because destiny is locked. It's because a sensitive mind can sense the strongest, most vibrant probability, the path of least resistance, based on the energy you are projecting right now. Think of it as a weather map. The storm of a future event is visible because the current pressure systems of your thoughts are creating it. But because the present is the point of power, you can always change the weather. You can change the channel. You can move from one timeline to another by shifting your internal frequency. Living in the spacious present, the master of the clock. So, how do we live with this? Do we stop using clocks and ignore our calendars? Not at all. Seth suggests we use linear time as a practical, technical tool, a necessary map for navigating the 3D world. It is a social contract that allows us to interact with one another, but we must never let it define our spiritual identity. When you feel rushed, panicked, or the crushing weight of running out of time, you are trapped in the ego's narrow filter. You have forgotten your multidimensional nature. But think about when you are in the zone, when you are creating art, learning something you love, praying, or building a project with passion and time seems to disappear. In those moments, you are touching the spacious present. You feel wider, you feel more whole, you feel connected to a source of energy that doesn't age and doesn't end. In that state, you are accessing what physicists call non-locality. You are beyond the constraints of a single point in space and time. In the spacious present, you are not a small human being pushed by a past into an uncertain future. You are an eternal validity, standing at the center of all that is, with the power to reach in any direction. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever had a moment where time seemed to stop? Or where you felt a strange, sudden connection to a past version of yourself that felt as real as the person you are today? Perhaps you've had a déjà vu moment that felt less like a glitch and more like a memory of a probable future? And here's a bigger question for our community. How would your life change right now if you truly believed the past was not finished? If you knew you could reach back and heal that child, or reach forward and borrow the strength of the elder you are becoming? If this expanded your mind, please like the video. It helps our community of mental detectives stay on the air and reach those who are ready for this message. And subscribe for episode 9, where we explore the language of the body and what Seth suggests about physical symptoms, the meaning of illness, and the inner signals that are trying to guide you. I am your host, and this is Seth Speaks. Time is a curtain, and you are the one behind it. I'll see you in the next reality.